Have you ever been in school, on a sports team, after school activity, on a music ensemble, a music band, where you had a teacher, professor, coach who wanted to see the very best of their student, of their athlete, of their musician, of their artwork student, but took it just a little too far? But you also see those people who don't want to throw in the bucket, throw in the towel, because they also want to reach for greatness. So you have two people who want to reach for greatness, but their versions of greatness and how to get into it are going by the wrong way. You have one who refuses to give up, while the other one is just like, I'm gonna keep piling on crap on top of that person until they crack, but the one that refuses to give up won't crack until it almost like destroys them. That's what Whiplash is about. And this movie, by the way, is freaking phenomenal. Cause like, you watch this movie, you get the feelings, the anxiety, come on, show it to the man, to please don't kill yourself, to oh my gosh, this is happening. And on this episode of Movie Breakdowns, I'm going to review the movie Whiplash from the year 2014. I had to double check, I had to make sure. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka, and what's Movie Breakdowns? Movie review series to look at new and old movies, give them a grade, A through L, plus and minus if you can count. And this movie going to review, let me know. Please put in the comments below and I can get to it as best I can. Also, have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka. And on that Patreon, you get trailer reactions, trailer reviews, and much more content on the $7 tier. But you also want to pay $2 a month. You get to jump in front of everybody else and request me to do movies that pretty much nobody else can cut in front of you because you're paying for my services. So, like for example, my Patreon member Tyler Phoenix, he requested me to watch the movie The Man with the Iron Fist. It jumped above a bunch of other reviews because he paying for my services. He wants me to review it, I'm going to review it and put them up for him. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of the movie Whiplash from 2014. Now, how did I come across this movie? Before I get into what the movie's about, there is a video on YouTube by, I messed up this person's name, a YouTube name, Internet AR, where they took Tenzin from The Legend of Korra and they put the voice, J.K. Simmons character Fletcher, to put his voice to Tenzin. And J.K. Simmons plays Tenzin as well in The Legend of Korra. But because it's the same actor and the same voice, so when Fletcher flips off in the movie and Tenzin's flipping off in the cartoon, the guy overlapped it, or an AR overlapped it, and it's one of the most hilarious clips ever. And there's no context to it. So you're just watching Tenzin go off, but you know it's J.K. Simmons, you're like, what is happening? That's how I came across this movie. And then somebody's like, no, Whiplash is a thing. I was like, what? And I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, well, I'll probably get to it eventually. But then somebody asked me to review the movie Frank. And Frank's a musician movie. And I was like, all right, I gotta review Whiplash after this because Frank is a solid movie. Then go watch Whiplash. And Whiplash is only an hour and 47 minutes long. And that movie, I tell you, it is so good. An hour and 47 minutes for just the directing, the acting, the lighting, the camera angles, the design, like the camera angles, what's the attention to details. Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons give it 110% in this movie, and it is some of the best acting I have seen, some of the best directing and camera angles that I have seen. The anxiety of it all. Somebody who's been there, somebody who wants to be the very best. And I never had a coach where I felt like they was pushed me to the point where I couldn't go further, or pushed me to the point where like I was gonna pass out. I've never been in that situation, but I know myself and somebody who wants to be the great at what they do. And seeing Miles Teller character where I'm like, fudge, that is me. I see myself in that character who wants to be the greatest jazz musician. He wants to be the best jazz drummer of all time. He doesn't want to be just great. He wants to be the greatest, where he is sacrificing his relationships. He is sacrificing friendship, sacrificing families to work his butt off. And when he gets somebody named Fletcher who pretty much says it this way, not my tempo. Not my tempo. Which is a very subjective thing, because Teller is working his butt off. He is putting in the work to get it to the point where he felt like Fletcher would like it. Fletcher listened to it. Not my tempo. Alright, next one up. And he swaps drummers like crazy in this movie. He's swapping them back and forth almost like toys in a video game character in a RPG. Let me just switch out the roster. So one person goes, not my tempo. Next person, not my tempo. Next person, not my tempo. All right, class, so we're going to be here all day until they get to the point of the tempo that I want. And when he gets into that point, he's sitting there yelling in Miles Teller's face and screaming at him about faster, faster, and putting Teller to the point where he's going to pass out. So good. So good. I haven't even talked about what the movie's about yet. I just pretty much talked about scenes that's in the movie, because the camera angles and the design, we can see the veins in J.K. Simmons' face and they're popping off because of how close they are, and the sweat run down Miles Teller's face, and he's like trying to work his hardest, and he's like going, he's like throwing all in. It is so good. So good. So what is the movie about? Well, it's about Miles Teller's character, Andrew Neiman, who goes to prestigious musician college, and he wants to join the top-notch class in school. Well, he gets his opportunity to join it, and when he gets the opportunity to join it, he meets Fletcher, who pretty much sees that Miles has talent. Fletcher brings Andrew into the class, gives him a prep talk saying like, hey man, everything's cool. And then once he gets into the classroom, if it's not the way Fletcher likes it, he is losing it, going berserk, volatile, and screaming and pretty much tearing down Miles Teller's character to get better, which Miles is going 110% to try to get better. And it pretty much is a battle of psychology and a battle of like one trying to work his harder to get better versus the other person pushing him a little too far to do it. And one person thinking that like the teacher who's pushing the student doesn't think he's doing anything wrong, when Andrew's whole mindset on life changes. The way he treats people, the way he talks to others, everything changes because the way he reacts to certain situations thanks to Fletcher's influences. And Fletcher doesn't know by the way he's acting is tearing down Miles Teller's character. And why is the movie called Whiplash? Well, Whiplash is the song that Fletcher is having his students play for this festival, kind of jazz festival coming up, or jazz competition coming up. Not really a festival, but competition is coming up. That's, I believe it's at the festival. That is what the song they're playing, that in Canavan, and he wants them to be on his tempo. He wants them to play it. And there's times in this movie you're watching it where they play Whiplash in like a audition to get into the competition. They're playing Whiplash there, and you look at, you know, Teller, who gets the opportunity to play it. You look at his character and you're wondering, oh no, he's gonna mess us up. Because Fletcher already made you feel uneasy that like if one mistake you're done. And he doesn't mess us up. They actually get it on point. And he's like, oh man, he does it. He overcomes. Everything will be better now. No, it doesn't get better now. It's like the moment Andrew character gets a moment of happiness, it gets snipped away from Fletcher, who's like, all right, cool. You got the spot. You got the part. Nice. Here comes another guy to take your part. What? And today I just don't like the way you're playing today. So he's gonna take your spot now. What? It gets to a point where Andrew character attacks Fletcher and his parents sues him. And Fletcher runs into Andrew at like a nightclub, and asks Fletcher to join, and pretty much messes with Andrew. Fletcher asks Andrew to join, and when Andrew decides to join the band one last time, it backfires on Andrew because Fletcher's like, you screwed me over, I'm about to screw you over in front of this giant crowd of people, in front of a giant audience. Good luck. And it turns into one of the most awesome endings of a movie I've ever seen, where there's not this gigantic battle between fists, gigantic battle where there's a laser come down the sky and the hero's gotta save it. It's not this gigantic, grandiose moment where like everybody in the world's like, yeah, man, we did it, or I'm proclaiming this stance. It is purely two people acknowledging to each other that like, you earn my respect and I won't quit. And when Andrew takes over the band at the end of the movie, pretty much by hijacking the show, and one of the coolest scenes, I thought he was gonna pass out. My fear in this movie, he's gonna die. Like, I thought he was gonna pass out and die. He brought himself to the link, push himself to the brink, and couldn't go any further. And he doesn't. It's just him playing out, rock and rolling on the stage, and looking at Fletcher like, and Fletcher looking back like, beautiful, beautiful ending to a movie. This movie's great. It's great. I don't know like what else to say about it. The budget for this movie is $3.3 million. They racked in box office $49 million. They did a solid job on this movie. It's great. 2014. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch it. It's one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. I'll put it up there with Knives Out. I watched it on HBO, and I'm thinking I'm going to buy the DVD cover, the DVD version, so I can watch it anytime, because it's freaking amazing. Freaking amazing. Alright, let's talk about characters. In this movie, there's pretty much two characters you really want to talk about, and that is Miles Teller's character, Andrew, who Miles Teller does a great job. The writing for Andrew is also really solid, and watching Andrew become a character who's like, I need to focus on drumming no matter what. I have a girlfriend, I'm sorry, I barely see you as is, and he's laying out the whole plan on why he can't see her, and she's like, so you tell me you just don't have time for me and that you're going places and I'm not? Okay, cool, we're done. And he's like, I'm okay with this, I'm okay with being over, to him losing his family, to him not being around, to him just drumming all the time, and him pushing himself to the brink. And Miles Teller does a great job with his facial expressions, with his reaction, the way he's snapping, where you can see the mental anxiety kicking in. You can see the loss, like him not sleeping. You can see his determination, where like he cuts his hand open drumming. He had to go put more band-aids on his hands, and his hands are just mangled because of the fact that he just been drumming so hard. And the Miles Teller's reactions and the facial expressions and the way he talks and snaps, it's so good, so good. Miles Teller does a great job in this movie. Then J.K. Simmons, the other one, J.K. Simmons, who plays Fletcher, phenomenal. The fact that Simmons can flip it off and on like that, be like completely calm, cool, crying about losing a student of his, to flipping it to cussing, throwing stuff at Miles Teller's head, getting in his face and snapping on him like that, it is crazy, crazy. And it's so volatile that you watch the movie, you just wonder when the next time J.K. Simmons' character is gonna snap, because J.K. does a good job of like giving those little hints that, oh, he might do it. Oh, he might not do it. Oh, he might do it. Oh, he might not do it. Oh, he might do it. Oh, he might not do it. It is so good. So good where you're just like, oh my Lord. And this movie is rated R. And the stuff that J.K. Simmons says, it is really messed up. It is horrible. It is not cool to say to people. He mind games people. But the writing that was given for J.K. and J.K. going all in on it, phenomenal, phenomenal. And the writing and directing of this, by the way, this movie is directed by Damien Chazelle, and it's based on Whiplash by Damien Chazelle. But let me see if I can find who the writers are, because It is so good. It is so good as far as the writing, and you really, oh, Damien Chazelle is the writer too. Great job. And just the lighting of it. Like, I'm not sure what tone it is, but the tone and the golden shades, it's great. It's phenomenal. Love this movie. Solid. The music in this movie is amazing. The music is amazing. I love the jazz. It is solid. It's good soundtrack. Any other thoughts? No. Let's go ahead and get into, is a Friday night movie? Friday night movie? Yes. Watch it with your friends and family and great time. I'm grading the movie Whiplash from 2014 an A+. I couldn't find anything wrong with this movie. The timeline of this movie is solid. An hour and 47 minutes, great. For what they put out, it's great. Miles Teller does a great job. You also see the great job done by J.K. Simmons. You get the writing behind the two. I keep throwing my pen down. The writing behind the two is so good, where you see the ups and downs, the ups and downs, the ups and downs. You see where, at the beginning of the movie, Andrew's working his butt off. Fletcher sees him. Fletcher says, you join the team. Fletcher's like, oh yes. I mean, not Andrew, but not Fletcher, but Andrew's like, oh yes. I finally get to join the band. He finally asks a girl out. He got confidence. He's feeling good about life. To flipping it to like him getting smacked in the face, one eye tear crying, and Fletcher talking about like a double rainbow to you. Like, it is so good on so many different levels. And just the up and down of Miles Teller's character just experiencing anxiety. I've been there. But it's some solid stuff. It is some solid stuff. And the writing is great. The acting is great. An hour and 47 minutes long, and I feel like it was perfect timing for this movie. Great stuff. If you've seen the movie Whiplash from 2014, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys in the next episode of Review Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zakka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of movie breakdowns or grind towards success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time. Keep being awesome.